Hey, what is going on, guys? It's Young here, and today I'm back in another Fortnite video, and in today's video, I want to share with you guys the best settings to use to help improve your aim in this game. There's a couple of settings specifically that I want to be touching on in this video, so definitely stay tuned to the video if you guys are looking to improve your aim and find some good settings for that, because this video will definitely help you guys out. And real quick, before we get into the video, up on the screen I have the V-Buck giveaway winner of this week. I give away 2,000 V-Bucks every single Friday, so if you guys would like to participate in the next giveaway and win some free V-Bucks, all you guys have to do is to drop a like on this video. Make sure you guys do subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you guys get notified for every single new upload and when I announce the winners every Friday. And lastly, make sure you guys put down your Xbox gamer tag, your PSN gamer tag, or Epic account down in the comment section below, and you guys will be automatically entered into the giveaway. And lastly, if you guys like to support me in the item shop, all you guys have to do, go down to the bottom right, hit on support a creator, type in my creator code, which is Young Humor, and you guys will have me added and supported as a creator in the item shop. And alright guys, let's go right to the video. Alright, so in this video, I want to be sharing with you guys the best settings to have and the settings you guys should change if you are looking to improve your aim and hit more shots in this game. And there is a couple of specific settings that I want to touch on that I think can really help you guys out quite a bit. So here, jumping into my settings, I want to specifically in this video talk about the different X and Y sensitivity some people have. As for example, some people have a higher horizontal speed than vertical, so meaning they're going to have a higher vertical speed than horizontal. You'll see there has been a lot of pro players who have taken this route, and there also is players who have a higher horizontal speed. And then same thing with ADS, some people have a little bit different of an ADS sensitivity, and that's exactly what I'm talking about in this video. If you guys should play on a different X and Y sensitivity, so if you guys should play on a higher horizontal or a higher vertical, and exactly what you should change it to, because that is something that really isn't talked about too much. But you will see a lot of players play on different X and Y sensitivities, and a lot of pro players for example, do play on just a slightly higher of a Y sensitivity, and I want to explain kind of the pros and cons of each so you guys can choose the right sensitivity that works for you. So like I said, some people have different X and Y sensitivities, and so the first thing here, you don't want to have a higher vertical ADS sensitivity. That is something that's just really awkward and you don't want to have it all. So you either want to have the same vertical and horizontal sensitivity, or maybe play with a little bit higher horizontal, because when you're tracking players, most of the time when you're aiming down your sights, it's going to be from left to right, so you don't want to have a high vertical ADS sensitivity. That's something you don't want to have. So you either want to have either the same or maybe just a little bit higher ADS. And the next thing I'm going to talk about is the look damping time. Now I think this is a great sensitivity that you can use to give yourself a little bit more control. So an example of this would be if you have a sensitivity that you really like, but for some reason it feels like you just don't have that control. Like you really like the sensitivity, but the control just feels a little bit off. If you add look damping time on, it's a really great substitute for not having to lower your sensitivity, because some people want to play in a little bit higher sensitivity, but it can feel a little bit too much, and the lower sensitivities don't feel right. So if you add look damping time on, you can have a little bit higher of a sensitivity and still feel like you have quite a bit of a control, and you're able to make those smaller analog stick adjustments which are a little bit harder on linear settings. So look damping time can be a great setting to have on if you're a high sensitivity player. So when it comes to the advanced X and Y sensitivity, whether to have a higher or a lower horizontal or vertical speed, this is something that can be a personal preference. I want to show you guys the pros and cons of having a higher horizontal versus having a higher vertical. So the first one, I'm going to talk about the horizontal. So if you have a little bit higher of a horizontal speed, it can be very beneficial if you're box fighting and you're the type of player who goes in and out of boxes really quick, because you're going to be looking left to right a lot more than, say, vertical up and down. So if you're the type of player who likes to play a lot of box fights and constantly looks left to right, then playing on a little bit higher of a horizontal speed is going to be probably your go-to. Now when it comes to your having a little bit higher of a vertical sensitivity, this one is more for the players who like to push for high ground quite a bit, because if you have a higher vertical sensitivity, you're going to be able to go for a shot like this significantly easier than if you played on a lower vertical sensitivity, because you're not going to be able to jump to the side, flick up, and then also be able to hit your shot and then place the floor below you. So you're going to be a lot better off in certain mechanics when it comes to having a higher vertical versus having a horizontal, and that's all it comes down to. You're going to have certain mechanical advantages having a higher vertical than having a horizontal, and that was just one example of being able to jump to the side, flick up, and then catch yourself and then continue to ramp up. That is something that I do a ton in games, and having a higher vertical can be a great thing to have just for that sole reason. And when you have a higher vertical sensitivity, you're going to have a little bit lower of a horizontal. And if you have a little bit lower of a horizontal speed, that can be a great thing as well, because you're not going to be overcorrecting as I'm showing here. If you're only a little bit lower of a horizontal speed, you really don't have to worry about accidentally overcorrecting or over flicking on your shots, because it is going to be a little bit slower and a lot easier to control. So that could be another big advantage on playing on a higher vertical sensitivity and a little bit lower of a horizontal when you're looking left to right. And also another thing to mention to improve your aim that really helps out quite a bit, and that's going to be just having great crosshair placement. That's when you go for an edit, and as soon as you finish off the edit, you automatically want to be looking up at the direction of the other player. But if you do have a higher vertical sensitivity, it can help you out in the fact that if you don't have the best crosshair placement, or if you're just going in and out of boxes very quickly, you're not going to have a perfect crosshair placement after every single edit. And if you happen to be looking downwards, then you can use your higher vertical sensitivity to kind of flick up and get way more headshots. And another thing to keep in mind too, when it comes to your building and editing sensitivity, you want to find an editing sensitivity that works best for you, because if you're playing an editing sensitivity that's just too high, as you can see, you're going to be overcorrecting and over flicking on your edits. So sometimes it can be more beneficial to help you edit faster and as well hit more shots if you are on a little bit lower of a building and editing. Here I put it on a 2.0, and as you can see, I'm a little bit more fluent, and it's still fast by a lot of means. It's still really quick, but it's a lot slower than what it was, and it gives me much more control over my crosshair and my edits, because I have seen a lot of you guys play, and that is a common mistake some people have. It's just playing on too high of a sensitivity in some categories, and that can directly not only affect your editing, but it can affect your aim as well, because your aim, or say your crosshair, is going to be all over the place if you have a bad edit. So being able to play on a great editing sensitivity that isn't too high is really going to help you hit more shots. So as far as the controller dead zone, I have a 13, 11%. It really just comes down to your personal preferences, just because it has to do with your controller. And if you have more stick drift, then you want a higher dead zone. And if you have lower stick drift, then you would have a lower. So it just depends on your controller. And just to summarize the rest, when it comes to your X and Y sensitivity, it really comes down to your playstyle. And if you're the type of player who likes to go for a lot of flicks, say upwards, or you like to go for a lot of side jumps when you flick up, that is just one example, but there is other ones too. You might want to play on a higher vertical sensitivity, but if you're the type of player who tends to be really box fight and you don't necessarily flick up a ton, you kind of flick more left to right, and just your movements in general are more lateral, then you probably want to be on a higher horizontal speed over your vertical. Then that's going to suit you the best. So you really just have to find what works best for you. And then for your aim down sights, you either want to have a higher horizontal speed or to have the same. You never want to have a higher vertical as of right here. You either want to have the same sensitivity or maybe just a slightly higher horizontal speed. That's going to be the most comfortable, just because you don't really look upwards too much, and a lot of times if you end up looking up too fast, you're going to miss your shot completely if you're trying to go for a headshot. So you don't want to have a really high vertical sensitivity at all. And then when it comes to your build mode and your edit mode sensitivity, that really is important as well. You want to play on an editing building really isn't, I mean, just whatever feels comfortable. I think for editing sensitivity, I think it's the most important, because your edit mode sensitivity, you have to find one that isn't too fast, but still fast enough to be able to do all the mechanics with editing that you want. Because if you have an editing sensitivity that's too high, you're going to find yourself overcorrecting a lot, which is going to make it so much harder to hit your shots. Even if you have great aim, if you end up having your crosshair all the way to the right side of your screen after an edit, it's going to be harder to line up your shot, and it's going to cost you quite a bit. So you have to make sure you have the right editing sensitivity for you. You want to have it on a little bit higher one that makes it easier to do a lot of editing mechanics, but not too high to the point where you're overcorrecting on all your edits, which is going to negatively affect your aim. But with that being said, that's wrap up for this video. If you guys have found this video helpful, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys do drop a like. Make sure you guys do subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Hit that notification bell so you guys get notified for every single new upload. And as well, I do live stream every single day here on this channel at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you guys hit that notification bell so you guys will get notified when I go live. And lastly, I'm starting to post a lot more on my Instagram. So if you guys haven't followed me, definitely follow me. My Instagram is just Young Humor. Very easy to find me. So make sure you guys do follow me if you're able to. And with that being said, I really appreciate you guys watching the video. And alright guys, I'll see you next video.